So this is a proof of life video. We are going to cook up those steaks on this grill. As you can see, it's 9:05. I'm going to turn the grill on with the little switch, put it on smoke, and this is the temperature. And what will happen is it feeds the auger through, feeds the pellets through into the fire pot. And it's already starting to smoke because this is the third time we've tried to start the video, but it takes literally 5 minutes for the fire to get started. And once you see the temperature climbing and the smoke coming out, then you can actually, I usually wait till it gets about 100 degrees, or at least definitely higher than 65, before I start cooking it into whatever temperature I want to do it at. So just give it a couple minutes. You can see smoke's pluming, so the fire is definitely going. And you can see the temperature starting to climb now. And since we're doing steaks, we're going to cook them on high. And you can see there's the different temperature on the controller: 225, 275, 325, 375, and then high. I usually only do steaks on high, and pizzas. Everything else I usually end up doing on 350 or 375. So it's hit 100 degrees, and as you can see, it's now 9:07, so it didn't take very long for it to start warming up. And I'm just going to throw it on high, and I usually let it sit for half an hour to get up to temperature, because I also want the grates to get hot, really good and hot. But you should be able to hear the fire going. There's a fan that circulates, and we keep foil on the drip pan so that it's easy to clean. And then there's a drip bucket on the other side, which will give you a new one. You can get them, they're just a paint thingy at Home Depot for $5. So it's not that big of a deal. But I'm going to leave this closed and let it get up to temperature. And get back to you. Probably 10-15 minutes is the minimum I would wait. Boost. So you can see it's been a little bit over 15 minutes, and the grill is now at 435, so it's actually getting a little bit warmer than the 425 it usually gets to. And normally I would sit. Yes, the video. See, feel how hot it is. But I usually let it sit because I want the grates to make sure that they get really warm, so you can get the sear marks like you get in the restaurants. So I'm going to go ahead and let it sit for another 10 minutes or so, kind of compromise between the half hour, and then and then we'll go with the next step. So you'll see the temperature did drop to 407. That's because this controls the feeding into the fire. So when the fire gets too hot, like you saw 10 minutes ago, that it was 435, it stops feeding the pellets until it drops, and then it'll start putting the pellets back in. So you will see fluctuation in the temperature, and that's normal. So I'm going to go ahead and put the steaks on now. And you'll find your own sweet spot as far as where you like your steaks. But I usually do the steaks on this end. For some reason, that seems to be a little bit warmer in the airflow than on that end. Can you hear that sizzle? And These steaks are pretty thick, so I'm going to cook them for 8 to 10 minutes on each side because we like them medium rare. And so I'm going to come back in 8 minutes and check and see how they're looking. Okay, so it's been 8 minutes. And the steaks need a little bit more time, so I'm going to let it sit for another 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. Okay, see the temperature's climbing again. And we're going to go ahead and flip the steaks now. You can see that there was some juice starting to ooze. Let it sit for another 8 minutes. And temperature's all the way up to 443. Woohoo! And those are, you can see the juices are running clear. Well, sort of clear. So give it a second for the juices to come out. There you go. So you can see the juices are pretty clear there. And then what I do is, because I might not necessarily, I might want to put them on for another couple of minutes, I turn it down to the 180 just to keep it from completely killing the fire. And then we'll let these rest for a couple minutes and then cut into them and see how they look. But then once I'm happy with that the steaks are done, then as you simply just turn the switch off, and I always throw it back to the off position so that it stops feeding, the auger stops feeding the fire. But I think that's pretty good. So we'll do one more pause and after letting these rest so that you can see what they look on the inside. Okay, now we're going to cut into it and see what it looks like on the inside. And there you go, medium rare. And that's proof of life. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn it off and throw the switch off and let it cool down. So by the time we go to bed tonight, we're going to cover it back up. And you can see that's how many pellets it used. So uses a cup of pellets for a steak like this. That's it. Thank you.